Here is a scene that is played out every weekend across this great country of ours, the United States. The youth enjoying drinking in a responsible manner after a week of hard work and studying and going to school. Nothing wrong with having some fun. But however, something has become afoot in this country. There are certain times when males and females should not drink, and one of these times is when the female is trying to conceive a child or is already pregnant. If the female or male drinks during this period in time, the results can be disastrous indeed, as this documentary will take you behind the scenes of fetal alcohol syndrome and its effects on the population. Here we see a pregnant female. Indeed, she looks like she's about 6 to 7 months pregnant. She should not be drinking, but if she does choose to drink while she's pregnant, the consequences will not be pleasant. There's things to consider when you are getting pregnant in one of these, is that what stage of pregnancy you're at, the different levels of fetal alcohol syndrome that could have an effect on your baby's well-being. Meet Christian Croadwarrior, a suspected victim of fetal alcohol syndrome. No one's for sure, but some suspect this may be the case. As you can see by his pointing, and by his sternness, and by his dress, he is having delusions of grandeur and fantasies of a pro wrestler, emanating his idol, the Legion of Doom. No one is quite sure what caused this, but FAS is suspected to be the cause of his mental retardation, his delusions of grandeur, as well as his multiple personality syndrome. His pro wrestler persona is not the only one that persists. Here, he fancies himself a preacher, and wears a t-shirt saying as much. As you can see, he constantly displays his pointing behavior, but who he's pointing at isn't sure. An imaginary friend, an imaginary adversary that only can be seen in his corrupted mind, corrupted by the alcohol that was in his fetus when he was young. No one is for sure, no one can say, but this is a sad situation. See as he listens to imaginary music and points to friends he doesn't have. As you can see here, he has given himself a laddish introduction to feel important in the face of his own inadequacy and mental retardation. As you can see here, he has also the multiple personality of a business tycoon. As you can see, he speaks in the mannerisms and wears the dress of a business entrepreneur or a business tycoon type individual. He's absorbed into his own fantasy world in which he is successful, but however in reality, which he will eventually be shocked back to, he is not. He lacks the critical thinking skills or intelligence to evaluate complex problems on his own, but instead resorts to that of an invisible deity or any other form of superstition. As you can see here, he's breaking down to laughter, but that isn't laughter of comedy. It's his inner psyche falling apart in his ignorance. Meet Jesus Freak 777, who has progressed to stage 2 of the fetal alcohol syndrome associated retardation level. He has grown oblivious to the reality around him. The fact of the matter is that he is a complete douchebag, but yet he is so detached from those around him and does not realize what he is doing, that he is completely oblivious to this fact, and continues on as such, making unintelligent arguments and observations, and idiotic provocations of people who are intellectually superior to him, yet he is totally oblivious to this fact. As you can see, he is unfazed by mostly anything, even the fact that his spouse has already left him. Presumably, we don't know the reasons why, but we can only guess, based on the fact that he appears to be, though no one can say for sure, but appears to be in stage 2 of this mental retardation epidemic. Here we meet the irrational atheist, a victim of self-identity, weak intellectual bimbosis. He calls himself the irrational atheist, though he's not. He's not an atheist. He is in fact a theist. But he doesn't have any concept of self-identity, and as such has become even more detached from reality than the stage 2 mental retardation afflicted person. He yammers on and is unable to make any coherent or intellectual points on his own. He either uses the aid of pre-written texts or relies on other people who are intellectually superior to him to do his intellectual dirty work for him. But he has indeed suffered into this stage, and as such he has slipped even away from reality, away from his own self-identity. Perhaps he did not understand the meaning of the word atheist when he chose his name. But either way, he's sinking farther and farther, and if he does not stop, will eventually reach the final stage of this mental degression. Meet Venomfangx, a victim of the fourth and final and uncurable stage, complete psychosis, complete mental psychosis, detached from identity and from reality. He exists in his own mental universe with his own physical laws, a universe where things can poof appear out of nothing, and the supernatural and magic are explanations that reign supreme for his worldview. He requires no evidence for any of his beliefs, and has dogmatic opinions regardless of any actual fact shown to him, because in his own mental universe these laws are true, and no one can tell him any differently. And he's become detached from his own identity, often saying that he was a former atheist who was a Jew, who is now a Christian, among other things. Who knows where his identity will take him next? But it is apparent that Venomfangx has become completely detached from all sense of reality and of self. This is illustrated by his videos constantly muttering and meandering and, talking on to things that make no sense, but only to his worldview. Only in his mind do these things make sense, and only in his irrational mind can they be understood. Yes, there is hope. Meet Richard Dawkins, a pioneer in treating the first 3 stages of mental retardation occurring with this specific ailment. His best-selling books, combined with logic and reason, may just be enough to jolt the first 3 stages back to reality and counter the symptoms of their mental retardation. He is a pioneer in his field and truly a great man. If you know someone being victimized, buy them his books and teach them.